Happy Friday. Hey, the sun is shining again. Every Friday, I make note of the fact that we've been able to have nice sunny Fridays. Anyway, today I am really excited because Ashley Zilch is with us from Advisors Title Network, and we are going to talk about title. What the heck is title? Everybody knows they have to pay title insurance, but I don't think many people do not know what they're paying for. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So the main importance of title insurance is basically so that buyers are covered. It ensures that nobody can come after the buyers and place a claim against their property. It ensures that their title is free and clear, and that everything's paid up to date at the day that they take ownership.
Okay, so that would be if there's some kind of, just so people know, if there's some kind of lien, like if they didn't pay their contractor who was working on their house, or how about things if there's a lawsuit because the mother says she owns the house and the kid or the uncle or some kind of estate issue.
Correct. Yes, we pull what's called a search, and what a search does is it gives us all the past documents on the property, so we can follow the line of title, who has owned the property, what liens have been against the property, what mortgages, and make sure that everything is in line to make sure that the new buyers don't have anything to worry about.
Okay, so then now who pays for title insurance?
So it's customary in Illinois for sellers to provide title insurance to buyers.
Okay. So when is lender's policy needed? A lender's policy? That's something else that you...
Yes, so there's two different types of policy. There is an owner's policy that is provided for buyers protection. And then if there is a lender on the file, they will want to have a loan policy as well. They require it. And what a loan policy does is it ensures the lender that their mortgage is in first lien position. So if anything were to happen, they would be paid first.
Okay, so that's interesting. So if you are a cash buyer, then your title is going to be less. You don't have to pay your fees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's really, I didn't even know that. So maybe if I thought about it. So, and then what is escrow?
Escrow is a third-party account. When you're talking in regards to title insurance, in that regard, because lenders have escrow, attorneys have escrow accounts, but basically it's a third-party holding tank. So when funds come to us, we hold it. We're not picking out for any. We're just a third-party holding it. And then when funds are ready to be dispersed, then we can transfer it over.
Okay, so the title company has that escrow pot of money. So then when the lender sends his money in and say it's a Compass sale and we have to put the earnest money in there, we send everything in, and then it comes in this little pot, and then you guys distribute the money to wherever. If you've got to pay taxes or you have to pay, that all comes out of your little escrow account.
Correct. I like to call it a holding tank.
Okay.
It's our holding tank, and like I said, we're not biased to any party in the transaction. We're just a third party neutral in the transaction.
So, another thing I want to discuss is that Illinois is an attorney's state. Can you do a closing without an attorney? Can you go just right to a title company in Illinois?
I mean, you can, but we highly suggest you don't do that. We are big fans of having attorneys in transactions, and basically it's because title insurance companies, what we're doing is making sure that there's going to be no claims against the properties, because if there is, we're responsible for it.
Right.
An attorney has the best interest for their client. So they're really looking for their client to make sure that they're not overpaying, that they're getting all the coverage that they need, and they're another line of defense to ensure the fact that there's not going to be any claims.
Right, right. And I know that there aren't that many states that require it, but being an agent in Illinois, I couldn't imagine doing it any other way. There are so many things that can go wrong that I'm like, really? I mean, who is looking after these people in these transactions?
Exactly. We are a big fan of having attorneys. We always suggest having an attorney because, again, the transaction just runs a lot more smoothly if an attorney is involved.
Can you advise viewers on, how they can get ready? Is there anything they need to do to special or things they need to keep in mind about the title insurance? Or
I would say for sellers, be mindful. Typically, if there's things that are going to pop up on title, the sellers are already aware of it. So in that sense, be mindful. Think about what could pop up, if anything could pop up, and make sure that you talk to your realtor and your attorney about it so that it can get cleared up
right away. Right. And that's the thing that, and I bet people do get surprised sometimes that there are things on the title that they did not know were there.
Correct. Yes, that does happen occasionally.
Yes. Right. So that's why it's really important. So that is why, so people just understand that's why they are paying this money. It's an insurance policy like any other insurance policy that you want to have, and you never want to have a problem with it. So otherwise people could be, they feel like, I don't need these. I don't need that. Yes, you do need that. Otherwise, somebody else could really own your policy.
Well, it's just like car insurance. Yeah, it's just like car insurance and health insurance. You need those things to make sure that you're protected. Otherwise, like I said, you could be held liable for an entire mortgage that's $400,000 with no coverage.
Right. So say that again, explain that. So let's say, I don't even know if you can, but let's say you sold your house to somebody without using an agent, without going through title search. I mean, I guess you could do it. You could just say, give me the money, and
so as a seller, technically providing an owner's policy is optional. It is and it isn't. It's kind of a loaded question. You can choose to not, but any buyer who has a buyer's attorney will not allow that to happen because they want the coverage for their client. So if you want to move forward in the transaction, you will provide your client or your buyers with an owner's policy.
Right. And the coverage is you guaranteeing that the title is free and clear.
Correct. Yes. There's no association dues that are, past due and lingering. Your taxes haven't been sold. There's no judgments against the person who previously lived there and was attached to the house. Right. Those are just some of the things that could pop up.
Right. So just to reiterate, that is what you're paying for. And that's really important because you never know what somebody might have done beforehand. So I want to thank you so much. Is there anything else that you think is important to mention about title?
As I said, people like to think that it's not necessary and it's not needed, but it most definitely is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would never, ever. I mean, in fact, yesterday I had someone tell me that she was buying a house, and she goes, I guess I need an inspector. And I said, yeah. I said, do you have an attorney? And she goes, no. And I'm like, well, who is representing you? You don't. And she didn't have an agent either. I said, you don't have an agent and you don't have an attorney. You have nobody looking out for your best interest on probably the largest purchase you're ever going to make. That's not a good idea. You never know. I mean, a million things could go wrong. So
And when it comes to real estate, it's honestly, it's kind of like learning a different language. It's an entirely different language. So if you're not in the industry and you're not skilled in it, and you're not familiar with it, and you don't have an agent or an attorney, like you said, nobody's representing you.
That's right. That is so right. That is so true. And, even commercial agents will tell you it's a very different. Commercial and residential are two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, thank you for joining me today, Ashley. This was great. It's good to know. And you guys are really efficient. You're easy to work with. And that's another important piece of the title company. They have to be good at what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Everybody have a great weekend and enjoy today. I think it's supposed to get not so nice. So take care.
Bye.
Bye.